Okay, so welcome to tonight's training webinar. As you can see, the subject for tonight is supporting your new team members. Should take about half an hour or so, and please feel free to type any questions as we're going through it. This webinar is one of 8 that I run that cover what I call the Kleeneze Circle of Success. So from getting started and your first 4 weeks through to building a customer base, getting started with team building, which is the one that we did last week. Tonight is supporting your new team members, and then over the next 2 or 3 weeks we're doing building your business, a bit about setting goals and your attitude and how important that is to your success, and finally personal development, which is kind of it's almost a side effect of joining a Kleeneze business, but it's actually more valuable than a lot of things you get out of Kleeneze. But as I say, I'll come to that in a few weeks. So I do one every week, or most weeks, and it takes us about 8 or 9 weeks to do the whole cycle there. So we're starting off from the point where you've started either speaking to friends and family, other people on your warm list, or talking to people that you might know, or you've put an advert out and somebody's replied to an advert. You've explained to them how it works and they want to join. So you've sponsored somebody into your team. And as I've said there, this is where the business gets really, really exciting. Hi, Andrew. Hi. Just seen your link come in. Andrew, could you just quickly type something into the chat screen if you've got it there, so I know you're with us. I know you can hear me. Sorry guys, I'm just going to make sure Andrew's on board and can hear us okay, and then I'll carry on. Andrew, it looks like you've joined us from an iPad or something like that. It says your mobile. Okay, I'm going to carry on. Hopefully you can hear us okay, Andrew. So, as I said there, when you're getting new team members in, this is where the business gets really exciting. But it's also where the hard work begins. You might think just putting a few catalogues out is quite hard work, but when you're supporting a team and you do feel a bit responsible for them, because you're hoping that they're going to be successful and earn some money, and obviously you're hoping that it will be the start of building up a residual income for you. And basically, I heard this a while ago now, and I think it's certainly true. Your success in Kleeneze will be in direct proportion to the amount of frustration you can deal with. Because you will have new team members that come in and say they want to do lots, but then end up not doing as much as you expect them to, or they promise they will. And you'll have other people that come in that really kind of surprise you in how successful they are, because your initial impressions might be that they don't sound very committed. So you kind of just need to support everybody with the same what's the word I'm looking for? The same level of kind of support as for everybody, if you see what I mean. So don't prejudge who's going to be successful and who's not. Aha. Hi Andy, nice to see you. So I'm glad you can hear me okay. We've only just started. I'm just kind of trying to introduce it a little bit. Eddie, nice to see you on board. Hopefully you can hear me okay and this will all start to make sense. Okay, so regardless of how many people that you bring into the business, the important thing is all that you really need to have a huge Kleeneze business is 5 serious people. Now you will get some people that come into the business that are not serious. You'll get people that just want to earn an extra 50 or 100 pounds a week doing some catalogues, and you will get people that come in that really want to grow a big successful business for themselves. And this little picture here kind of gives you an idea of the way a network can grow, from you introducing it to a few people, they speak to a few people, those people suddenly find that they've got lots of people that want to join, and your business can really grow very big just from a few serious people. So once they've joined your business, the aftercare and the support that you give to your team members is really the biggest impact you can have on the success of your new team member. So firstly, you need to understand that many distributors will leave. You will have people that will come in and they will, within a couple of weeks will decide, actually this isn't really for me, and they'll leave. And it doesn't really matter how enthusiastic you are and how successful you are, and you can offer them all the training and the support that you want. If it's not for them, it's not for them. And all that you can really do is firstly accept that it will happen, but secondly, just make sure that you did everything you could to support them. And by that I don't mean going around and putting their catalogues out for them, but just being there for them, doing all of the training, encouraging them to come to the meetings and so on. And we'll go through that in a bit more detail now. So the first thing, that one of the most important things that you can offer your new team member is communication. Just keep in touch with new starters, especially at the beginning. There's a good phrase there, constant communication keeps people inspired. If you're inspired and motivated and you're enjoying what you're doing, then you will progress. And what you'll find is within your team, the people who are serious, who want to be leaders themselves, will actually contact you. They'll be the ones that are ringing you up saying, Chris, I've just done this has just happened, I wasn't quite sure what to do, what do you suggest? Or they'll just ring you up and say, Chris, just want to let you know, I just put my catalogues out, collected them all back up in, before I even got back, I got 3 email orders or whatever it might be. So they're kind of enthusiastic, and they're keeping you informed about how things are going, and they're contacting you whenever they've got any questions at all. You'll be able to tell those people who are, if you like, your future leaders. So, quick question to everybody. Just type in a number off the top of your head. How many times do you think you should call your new team members in their first week or so? Okay, 5 from Steve. Any other guesses? 3 from Andrew. 3 to 4, yeah. Okay, good. I propose that what you should try to do is call them every day. 7 times in their first 7 days. Now, in practice, you might not be able to do that, but the point is, what you're trying to achieve, especially at the beginning, you have to remember, I know certainly for Andrew and Javier, you're both very new to the business. I imagine that you're feeling a bit unsure, you're not quite sure what to expect, you're hoping that you're going to get a good response with your catalogues the first time you put them out, but you're not really sure, you're kind of just trying it out almost. So by contacting them every day, you're building a bit of rapport with them, so they get to know you and they feel comfortable calling you back. You're showing them that you care, that you're understanding where they're coming from, what they're hoping to achieve. You're answering any questions. You're basically showing them that you're always there for them. Excuse me. Now, it may be that you can't speak to them every single day, but it's just that first week I find is vital in building that kind of relationship. So, as an example, what might you say? You ring somebody up. So, the first day, all I normally do is I'll ring up a new starter and just say, hi John, I've just sent you that information pack we talked about. I've checked with head office, the catalogue should arrive tomorrow. Have you got any questions so far? And often they haven't, because most of the questions will come once they've kind of got their catalogues and they're starting to prepare to put them out. But at least you've kind of seen if they do have any questions at that point. Maybe the second day, you would then go through the Getting Started checklist. So, I know Andrew, when I came over to see you today, there was that checklist. Javier, when I come to see you tomorrow or Friday, again, we'll go through this checklist. It's basically just how to prepare your catalogues, setting your first goals, and working on your kind of a weekly plan for when you're going to put your catalogues out, when you're going to collect them back up again. So I normally just quickly go through that with them, either face to face if it's local to me, or on the telephone if we can't kind of find a good time to meet up or it's too far away. Third day would just be something like has everything arrived okay? You know, I'm expecting that your catalogues will be there, your stationery pack with all of your leaflets and so on. So once everything's arrived, you then just want to say, okay, are you happy with what you need to do to get the catalogues ready to go out? You know, put your stickers on, put them all in the plastic bags ready to go. You've worked out the route that you're going to. Fantastic, Andrew. Great. You've been working hard, I see, since we left. So yeah. So once the catalogues are there, they've got everything ready to make a start. The fourth day, I normally just ring up and just say, how's it going? You know, and whatever they've achieved, it's really good to encourage them. So you've got new starters. You know, they maybe all they've done is they've gone out and they've put out their first 100 catalogues, and that's great. Now, for some people, the hardest part of Kleeneze is stepping out the front door with their catalogues the first time. So if they've gone out and they've put some catalogues out, it's important that you recognise, actually that's quite a big achievement for some people. So, you know, whatever they've done, they've put out 100 catalogues, they've got all 250 out, just kind of asking how it went, did they have any questions, did anything happen they weren't sure about, just so that, again, you're explaining, showing them that you're interested in how it's going and you want to help. The fifth day might simply be, have you had any questions? Any sort of customers called you back yet with anything you're not sure about? Sixth day, hopefully by now, they've put their catalogues out, they've collected them back in again, and with a bit of luck, they've got enough to put their first order in. Now, putting an order in on the online system isn't complicated, but if you're not very comfortable on computers, or if it's, obviously if it's the first time you've done it, they might just want a little bit of help putting an order in. So then you can either talk them through it or go over and sit with them if it's somebody local. And then, day 7 or whatever day that might be, has the order arrived? When we know when the order is going to be coming, and you can just help them get the order prepared for delivering to their customers. So that's kind of what I would typically do in the first week. It's really important just to kind of build that rapport with them and have an idea of the sorts of things they might be going through. So another thing that is really useful to do is to anticipate the sorts of errors that can easily be made. And if you've been in the business, Stephen, I know you and I have both been in the business for a little while, we've probably all made the same mistakes when we first started off. So first thing is, for example, make sure that within your first 28 days, your new team member has sent a photo in. Sometimes they do it at the sign-up process, but if they didn't have a photo at that time, then they can either email one in or post it. If you don't send your photo in within 28 days, your account gets put on, I can't remember if it's stop or hold, but basically you won't be able to then submit an order until you've sent the photo in. And that could take you, a day or two to get a photo, email it in, might take head office a day or two to process it, and all that time you're sat there with an order ready to go, and it can be frustrating. So just making sure that photos get sent in. It's really useful just to kind of explain to new starters that Kleeneze is a business where things go very up and down. The path to success is not always a straight line. So you will have, this is England. Unfortunately, I think if we were living in the Canary Islands, we probably wouldn't have the same problems. But in England, it definitely does rain. Oh, actually, Eddie, you're in from Glasgow. Sorry. In the UK, it definitely rains. So there will be times when you're going out in the rain, so you need to wrap up and everything. There will be times when you're doing your pickups that you don't get all your catalogues back. Not everybody's going to order from you. Yeah. And you will come across some grumpy old people that just sort of say, I don't want this bloody catalogue. And so, all you do then is cross them off your list, and you're not going to bump into those people again. So just preparing people for the fact that some things will happen like that is really important, because if you just say to your new team member, oh, you'll be fine, don't worry, you'll get loads of orders, everything will be fine, it's always sunny, every person orders from you, you always get every catalogue back, then all you're doing is setting them up to get disappointed. And that's when people are likely to say, actually, this isn't quite what I expected, and they're likely to leave before they've really started to build on their customer base. Make sure, absolutely, Eddie, that's really good point there. Making your own sunshine in this country. I suppose in Scotland, or if you as you're further north, you have to make more and more of your own sunshine. But yeah, wherever you are, regardless of the weather, you can bring your own sunshine with you. Okay, make sure your team have the names and telephone numbers of their upline. So obviously yourself at least, but also if you've got a supportive sponsor or upline that you use, then make sure that your new team member knows them and meets them at meetings and so on as well, so that if they're unable to get hold of you, there's always somebody else they can get hold of. And make sure they're aware of the next local open evening. Meetings are really important to our business. It contributes hugely to the success of new starters if they can get along to the local meetings, get a bit of training, but really just meet other people who have already gone through what they're going through. And if you can see that these people have done what I've done and they are successful, then you can think to yourself, they've done it, so I can do it. And it's just a really important part of reinforcing that. So make sure that you inform them of the local meetings, get them along as if you possibly can, and explain the steps about how to build a customer base. So, the fact that at the beginning you're delivering catalogues and you've got no idea who's going to order from you, but gradually as you build up more and more regular customers, you soon get to the point where you're delivering just to people who have ordered from you regularly. And just talk to them regularly, as I say, when the kit arrives, after they've dropped their catalogues for the first time, when they've picked them up, when they're placing their first order. That communication is so vital, really. Okay, so Andrew, do you mean day slips? Sorry, did I miss a question there? Eddie, I think you were asking Andrew something. But yes, I think that's probably what Andrew meant. Okay, so the other thing that's useful to do is keeping track of the progress of your new team member. So firstly, obviously it's really important to understand how much they're wanting to earn. If somebody comes in and they've just lost a job, they've got £1,000 a month mortgage they need to recover, so they're looking to earn £1,000 a month from day one, but they're hoping to get away with putting 50 catalogues a week out, then you kind of need to explain to them a bit about the relationship between how many catalogues you put out and how much you're going to earn, and the usefulness of team building and that as well. So, but if if they're looking to do £50 a week and they're able to put out the 250 catalogues a week, then that's fine. They've got a very good chance of hitting that target, and you just need to help them keep track of all of that. So, understanding how much they want to earn, and as I said there, making sure that it's realistic, so that they then know how many catalogues they need to put out to have a reasonable chance to build up that level of earnings, and then keep track of that. If someone sort of says, okay, I need to earn £50 a week, so I'm going to try to put out 250 catalogues a week. And if they're struggling to get out 100 catalogues because they've got lots of other commitments, then they need to understand that the rewards, the pay that they earn, is pretty closely linked to how many catalogues they're putting out. So if you can help them keep track of that, then that's more likely that they're able to catch up. They might have a week when they can only get 100 out, but then maybe the following week they can get their catalogues out twice, which will get them back on track. And explain to them a bit about the bonus system. It's not intuitive, but the setting your first targets. I always talk about the 30-day challenge as being the first target, and getting the 10% bonus, the first cash bonus, as being important as well. As I said there, so those are useful goals to set, so you can kind of see yourself achieving your first targets in your first within your first month, which is great. Okay, meetings and training. So personally, as a team leader, as somebody who's introducing people to the business, I always go to the meetings and trainings, and I always try to encourage all my new team members to come to these webinars. For two reasons. One is you always learn something new yourself, and secondly, you're kind of showing the importance of them to your new team members. If you think to yourself, oh well, I don't need to bother going to the webinars or to the local meetings because I've been doing the business for a few weeks and I know what I'm doing now, then your new team members will think, oh well, if Chris doesn't go, it can't be that important, so I won't bother. and suddenly you'll find that you've got no team members going to any of the meetings, and they're all leaving because they're just not seeing the bigger picture. A good phrase that I believe strongly in is, be the leader you seek. And what I mean by that is, if you're in a team, and by the team I mean your upline as well as your downline, and you're kind of thinking, oh, I wish we had a more active team, or I wish my team leader ran local sizzles or meetings or whatever. If they don't, then there's no reason why you can't become that leader and run your own sizzles, run your own webinars. All this software that we're using tonight is absolutely free, costs nothing at all, and so you can start to become a team leader and set an example for your team. So you're being that leader, if you like. Okay, I'm not going to run through all of this, but this is a checklist of things that I make sure that I've kind of been through with everybody during their first kind of 3 or 4 weeks. So things like making sure I understand their name and address, and I've got all of those details, and understanding what they want out of Kleeneze. I have an email distribution list, so I make sure that I add them to that, put them on my phone, lots of little things like this. I always send them a welcome letter, making sure they've got all their starter packs, making sure their catalogues arrive. By having a little checklist, you're then not relying on the fact that you have to try to remember what to do every time you have a new team member come in. Number of cats, so that would be, at the moment, everybody who joins on 250, I should say catalogues. I suppose asking people how many cats and dogs they've got is probably not particularly useful, unless they're a really keen cat lover or pet lover, in which case it might be interesting to know how many pets they've got. But sorry, I should say catalogues. Yes, sorry, Andrew, it used to be that there were various different starter packs. People could join with 10 catalogues or 50 catalogues or 250 catalogues, and again, if you knew how many catalogues they were joining on, then you could set realistic expectations of how much they were likely to earn at the beginning. But now everybody joins on 250, so that's kind of less important. But as I said, the point as a team leader, if you like, the point of having a checklist is so that you don't have to think every time, oh, what are the things I need to do with my new team member? Another good thing to do as a team member, okay, Andrew, sorry, bids is, the kit that you got with all of the day slips and everything in, and the round books, the company that prints those is called Bids. I don't even know what it stands for now, but it's a Bids web shop. I'll send you the link to that so you can have a look at all the other stationery and stuff they've got on there. Your PSG is your personal sales group. So this is you and then everybody in your team who you've introduced or they've introduced who haven't yet got to gold. So this is, if you like, your close team, the people to you who have just started or are in the early, kind of the first year or so of their business. And it's useful just to track how everybody's getting on. You will have people that come in and put in an order once or twice a week, other people that are just putting in once or twice a period, and understanding how things are going for them and how often they put orders in. If you can see that, Eddie, you're a genius, mate. I never understood that. Buzz International Distribution Service. There you go, Andrew. That's what Bids is. So yes, so there's an option on the kleeneze.co.uk website that I'll go through, Andrew, with you, and Javier, I'll go through when we meet up, called your group sales analysis. And Andrew, today when we were talking about how can you see what your team members are doing if they put orders in and so on, this group sales analysis is the way you do that. So it's useful to track in each 28-day period how many active distributors there are in your team, how many people are actually putting orders in, how many new people do you introduce, how many serious distributors have you got, and what was the sales of your whole team. The purpose for doing this is really, actually I've got a feeling, here we go, yeah, one of my favourite speakers and authors is a chap called Jim Rohn. And he talked about when you're growing your business, what you're looking to achieve is measurable improvement in reasonable time. So all that we mean by that is, we're not kind of saying you need to have 5 team members within your first 10 days or anything like that. it's up to you how quickly you grow your business. But by measuring, what sales you've got, what orders you've achieved from your own catalogues, what team members you've brought in, of those team members, how many of them are active, you can see if your business is growing. And if it's not, you can identify the areas where maybe you need a bit more. If you're getting lots of new distributors, but not many of them are active, then there are areas that we can look at. Where are you finding your distributors? What level of support are we giving them, and so on. Okay, so quick question, another question and answer round. How many serious people do you want in your team? Can you all type in if you've got an idea? Good. 5, yep. 2. As much as you can manage. Yep. Good. Let me just show you. I think what I've got next is, okay, 5 is a really good number to aim for, and the reason for this is we always talk about if you can find 5 serious people, then you can be as successful as you want to be in Kleeneze. Because of the way that the Kleeneze bonus structure works, if you've got 5 serious people who all get to gold, that gets you to what's called a senior executive distributor, and you're probably going to be earning upwards of £5,000 a month. So that's a great place to start. Now, how long does it take you to get there? It's a piece of string, really. John Hawkes, one of my uplines, always said when he first started off, his goal was to try to find one person who could get to gold each year. So if you like, he was thinking it was going to take him 5 years to get these 5 serious people. And it's really strange because I've been doing this now for a few years. You will go through times when you sort of think, I'm bringing in loads and loads of people, but nobody seems very serious about it. And other times where you're bringing 2 or 3 people and they're all deadly serious and they all want to get into team building straight away. And there's no kind of rhyme or reason. But the point I'm trying to make here is you don't need to recruit 1,000 people to build a big successful business. Because if you've got 5 and they start to introduce their own team members and maybe they find their own 2 or 3 or 4, you can soon get to the point where you've got a big successful team based around those 5 successful and serious team members. Okay, quick question again. How often should you call a new starter? This is like a revision, it's like a revision test. Just like being back at school now. Yeah, as often as they need, Steve, that's a really good point. I think when I first start somebody up, I normally go for every day, but you're absolutely right. Some people say, actually, Chris, I think I'm pretty much on top of this. You don't need to call me every day. So it kind of depends on the individual. But I always start off with the goal of calling them every day, and then you'll be able to get a sense from them whether they're picking things up quickly, whether they're happy to talk to you regularly, or whether they feel that you're just kind of trying to be a bit too pushy for them. Because some people just want to take it easy, and they'll let you know when they want to speak to you. So it's there's no kind of definite answer for that. But yeah, I aim to call people every day in their first week. Okay, that is the end of this particular webinar. As you can see there, we've just finished number 5, which was supporting your new team members. For Andrew and Eddie, I think you missed this. I showed this slide right at the beginning. So normally there's 8 in the series, and we go round and start off doing number 1, which is about getting started and so on. So we've just done number 5. Next week, for anybody you're all welcome to join again, is all about building your business. So this is kind of growing it a little bit. The first 3 bits are really about the catalogue side of it. The next 2 bits are about the team building side of it. What's next, you might ask? Well, that's what we'll find out next week. Okay guys, I'm going to stop my recording now.